Looks to come inside and find one a goal and find the back of the net for Perth.
And the Azzurri have come back from 2 goals down to tie it up.
Cue the celebrations for the Azzurri.
Yeah, welcome. Episode 4 of the Perth Soccer Club podcast. Great to have you with us. Another big week at the mighty Azzurri Football Club. Stack happening throughout this week. Plenty to go through and some very, very special guests. My name's Blaine Treadgold alongside me for the next 40, 50 minutes or so. Mr. Ben Stroud, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. It's good to be back. Good to be back in the hot seat.
Always in the hot seat around here, mate. There's no easy ones around here, and there's a fair bit to sift through. Let's start with the good stuff because it's been a phenomenal couple of weeks, particularly for the Azzurri girls. They've been absolutely flying.
Yeah, the NPLW team, they've been on fire, as we've talked about previously, and after we had Annika on the show as well, talking about how their transition with getting new girls in the team as well and just kind of finding their feet and how they're playing with each other. It's good to see with an absolute cracker of a result with the weekend to close the gap on Red Star. So, yeah, it's really good to see, and as you said, phenomenal form.
Yeah, they'd be on absolutely cloud 9 at the moment. Big result, a 4-3 win away up there. Tough place to go. Some difficult conditions across the weekend as weather-wise as well. Ella Lincoln with an absolute belter. We're starting to get used to this with Ella.
Yeah, like she's on fire, absolutely on fire, and it's just good to see the consistency, right? That's what you want from a striker, from any team, like any team member, really, that consistency, keep showing up week in, week out. Defenders will be shaking every time she's playing. So, yeah, it's class to see.
Absolutely. And there was 2 names that I kind of picked up over the last few weeks. And one was Ruby Marshall, the other one Daisy McAllister, known for their real hard work. So great to see them get a bit of a reward on the score sheet as well.
Yeah, 100%. When that hard work is rewarded with goals and like you actually get the results at the end of the day, I mean, that's just, it proves you as a player that what you're doing, it works and it pays off. It just gives you confidence going week in, week out.
Absolutely, and Kim McCartney with the other there. So moves within 2 points of Red Star. Big one coming up this weekend against Balcatta, which we will look at towards the back end of the show. Unfortunately for the NPL men, including your team there, well, let's start on the weekend. 3-3 draw against Perth Glory at the Sam Kerr Football Centre. Sammy Cook with 2. That man, Gordon Perkins, just keeps popping up.
Yeah, look, Gordo's in great form and he's a threat everywhere in the park, to be fair. And we've mentioned before, it's not just his work rate in terms of with the ball, but off the ball at the same time. He provides both sides, which is incredible. And yeah, Cookie bagging a brace at the same time was really good. He pops up right place, right time. And look, the third goal that we scored was phenomenal. We started in one corner of the pitch. We went back to Joey, played a great diag over to Kobe, found the extra man, drove through, played a beautiful ball through to Diddy with his pace and crossed in. Cookie's there to tap it in, which was class.
It was a highlight of the weekend, no matter which game you happen to watch. And yeah, beautiful stuff. And I guess we've talked about this new style, and I guess when you see that, you kind of go, hey, it's all justified.
Yeah, like it pays off, right? But the thing is that we've got to be patient with it, and we've got to keep trying. It takes courage. Like it's a vulnerable way to play football. You put yourself out there, and especially from the back, from a defenders and goalkeepers point of view, it's like you're playing risky stuff, and it does take a lot of courage to do it. And that's the really cool thing about it when you see it pay off and you see it. Like my first reaction was to go back and hug Joey, because that first pass it cleared everything up, and it takes a lot of skill to be able to do that. So yeah, the boys at the other end, they get the glory and they get the name on the score sheet, but you can't look past that stuff at the back. Maybe I'm a bit biased there, but it is what it is.
As far as, I guess, just want to get inside your brain a little bit as far as that kind of process. Obviously, mechanically, you've really kind of hyping up your decision-making. It's not just decision-making, but it's fast decision-making at the same time.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like in that situation specifically, I knew that the number 9 was pressing me, and as soon as I gave Juddy the ball at right back, I know that my first thought is I've got to drop. I've got to give myself as much space and room as possible, because they are going to see that as, we can go win the ball here and we're close to the goal. So I knew that was coming. I dropped off, and then as soon as he stepped in, I was like, the space is on the other side. So I did a wee Cruyff turn, played it to Joey, and then we're out the other side. So yeah, it's just trying to recognise those things and those cues that give you the the sense and the knowledge to make the best decision next. And look, if at times like you don't check your shoulder, you don't know, then that's when you get caught out. But preparation's the best in that situation. Just looking and making sure that you know and you're prepared and your body shape for the next action.
Obviously, there was a 3-2 scoreline there. A little bit of a feeling that it's the one that got away, considering the circumstances on the ladder.
Yeah, without a doubt, and especially, I mean, the whole game, right? We started off on fire with 2-0 in the first half, and then they came back to 2-2, 3-2 up, and then 3-3 in the end. So it did definitely feel more like a loss than anything, but. Look, we can take so many positives from that game, and Kenny was really good with us after and saying with the stats and how he played, the style of football, that courage that he's talking about. He was very happy with what we did, but it comes back to the same thing we've talked about. How do we limit the mistakes that we make to give teams the chance to get back in the game? And as long as we keep working at that, I think we're gonna keep getting better and better. And I know I say it every week. It sounds like a broken record, but I'm truly believing that. I truly believe in the boys at the same time.
Last night, Australia Cup, it was the preliminary semi-final. Another unfortunate loss against what many would consider to be the benchmark team in the competition. They're showing that on the ladder, and they are one of those teams that does have plenty of ex-professionals and guys that have been to these kind of higher stakes games many times before. Yeah,
look, it's gutting, honestly. That's the feeling I take away from it, because I said to the boys at the start of the game, like, we were doubted. Without a doubt, like, people would have wrote us off before just based on the ladder and where we're at. And like, I'm extremely proud. I know Kenny is proud of what we did, and I know people at the club are proud of how we played and how we carried ourselves last night. Because look, there were early goals, and then the game really just kind of stayed the same way, where I think that throughout the first half, they had some chances, we had some chances, but the way that we're playing, and then the second half as well, and I'm talking about that courage a lot, because we really did take control with the ball, trying to play out and trying to play through to create those chances. And look, the reality is that we really put a really good foot forward, I think, and I'm stoked with how the boys played, and we did show fight and passion and determination in that second half especially. And like, credit to the boys. And unfortunately, we got knocked out of the semi, and you think it's one away and we're almost there, but look, we got to take it forward. And look, it's a good thing that we've got a quick turnaround for the weekend coming up, and I'm sure we'll talk about that soon too, but take a lot of good things from that and hopefully carry that forward.
The midweek games, how are you finding them at the moment? Because they've been coming thick and fast.
It's all about play, recover, and then get your body right, get your minds right, and just keep putting these patterns together. And I said it last week, I think, but like, it's great. It's the life of a pro, and that's how you play. The amount of games that pros play these days is ridiculous. So it's just about how do you get yourself right, your body right, your mind right, in the best space to kick on and get ready for kick-off the next time.
We'll look forward to a big weekend. We just talked about it off air. We're back at the first round of fixtures again, so a chance for a bit of revenge against Western Knights this week. Yeah,
look, if we reflect on the first round in every single game, I think that we've left points on the table for sure. So it's exciting to refresh, start again. Western Knights, let's go. I'm absolutely buzzing for the second round and to see how we can take what we've worked on and take it forward again to teams that we know and that we've watched and that we've played against before.
We'll talk about that a little bit later on as we get towards the back end. Benny, we've got some really special guests and a little bit of a coup on the program to get through. We're going to be speaking to Alessandro Circati, home ground boy. He doesn't need any introduction around these parts, but there might be a few listening that would really be interested in his story.
Yeah, look, I'm excited to chat to him as well, honestly, from a defender's point of view and perspective, but also obviously with his experience and what he's been going through overseas at the same time. So yeah, it's going to be class. Yeah,
another cap for Alessandro for the Socceroos the other night on his home deck essentially as well, which must have been a really, really special moment.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting to him about that, and obviously it would have been an emotional time for him and his family too, so yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Great stuff. We'll also speak to another Socceroo. We have produced plenty of them here at Perth Soccer Club. Dino Djulbic is going to join us. He's always a good bit of fun.
The big man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. See what kind of crack he's got for us.
Excellent stuff. We'll do exactly that. We'll get into our first guest right after this. Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Blaine Treadgold, Ben Stroud. It's an absolute delight to, should we call him the man of the week? Because there's been a lot of focus on him and he's dealt with it with absolute class, Benny.
Yeah, as per usual, just the way he plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Alessandro Circati's with us. Ali, welcome, mate. Welcome home, should I say.
Thank you very much.
Mate,
Thanks for having me here.
It's been a big week for yourself. Take us through it.
Yeah, it's been very busy, probably from the flight from Bangkok to Bangladesh. That's probably where it started, obviously. Adapting to the situation, obviously, over there being a bit rough compared to over here. And then flying back. Obviously, jet lag's all right because it's only 2 hour difference. But then coming back here, moving everything. And then obviously once here, everyone, obviously being my hometown, everyone really excited. And I've been a bit busy, but no, it's good fun.
Mate, it must be fantastic just to see the family and, see some good friends and everything else that you may not have seen in some time.
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously, mum and dad and my girlfriend and my closest family have seen me play. They've flown over to Italy. But obviously friends of friends, close people that have been around me probably from the start really haven't actually seen me play. So hopefully they got a chance to watch me play and they enjoyed it as well.
Besides that, of course, you have had commitments being in camp with the Socceroos. Mate, not everyone will get the chance to be able to do that. What does the week look like from an international perspective when you are in camp?
Apart from traveling, it's actually very, very relaxed. Usually a day would look like, waking up maybe 8:39, going down to breakfast, and then maybe after breakfast having some treatment. After treatment, probably like a media session or commercial window or doing something for the national team, whether if it's shooting outside, podcasts, interviews, and then just lunch or actually a gym session, optional gym session, or just go have a chill in the pool, lunch, and then training in the afternoon, and then just dinner. So it's actually it's quite relaxed, not too full on, no double sessions. So yeah.
What's the training like? So obviously international teams, when you get together with a group of players that you don't actually get to see as often compared to your club training and like you're around the same team, same guys all the time. Is there a real difference?
Yeah. Obviously you have to get used to, you have to adapt a lot quicker than what you usually do. Having to obviously understand each other and having to just to deal with different people because, changing with 30 guys is always easy to keep, nice and tidy. But luckily, both of my change rooms, both in Italy and with the Socceroos, are very tidy. But yeah, it's just adapting and being flexible with other people. Maybe realizing if someone's more sensitive, someone's how to drive them the right way and stuff.
And I guess coming into this dynamic, your second cap, I think I'm right in saying. I mean, is there anyone that's really kind of taken you under their wing and showed you the ropes as far as the national team goes?
Oh, I can't pin out any names. Just everyone, obviously. Honestly, just everyone's been great to me so far. New boys have probably 10 games, still a new boy. Have taken me under their wing. Boys have been there for 8 years have taken me under their wing. So no, it's been great from everyone. Obviously, everyone everyone's like that with everyone. No one's a bit too picky, and everyone's just a great group of guys, honestly.
And it's been fantastic to see so many West Australians or West Australian connections. And I think we're going to claim Harry Sutar because the reason that he can play for Australia is his mum was born in Port Hedland. So we'll take that one with us. But even guys like Adam Taggart, Cam Burgess, and yourself is a bit of a WA flavour at the moment. Yeah,
there actually is. I don't think before there were many. I was being told a couple of days ago, actually. There wasn't, I think there was maybe 1 or 2, and then recently just all of a sudden, just the hit of, 3 or 4 of us just sort of just come in. And yeah, it's good, obviously. A bit different to have, the usual Sydney boy, Melbourne boy. Now to have a couple Perth boys, it's something good.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic. Mate, I wanted to go back a little bit on your whole journey, which started here or Forrest Park as part of the Perth Soccer Club, and we've did a little bit of digging, and I had to ask some questions, and I was just downstairs speaking to the fabulous Margaret Trinker, who said, once upon a time, you were this little boy who was hanging around here and maybe given everyone a little bit of annoyance, but it's been a fantastic journey from those kind of days hanging around Perth Soccer Club to where you are today.
Yeah, honestly, lots and lots of good memories here. Obviously, I don't remember a lot, but I do remember roughly. Obviously, every time it was time to come here, either to watch, Dad train or Dad play was always a good time. I was probably never watching. I was probably in the back kicking a ball myself, but no, it's just good to be here and good to be with friends at a young age to obviously have a lot of fun.
And we'll touch on that, just the influence that your father had on your career. Of course, he was known in his own right for a great career, but geez, he must have had a hell of an influence on yours as well.
Yeah, he's probably played a big influence when I was younger. Now he's sort of stepped down and let the club where I'm at do most of the work or all the work, because I think it's right like that, and he probably thinks it's the same. So obviously when I was younger, he does need to teach you, because obviously you don't have coaches who are maybe so experienced. But obviously now when you reach a certain level, it's sort of, he needs to back down, and I need to start learning myself through not a parent, which I actually hated him being my coach. Yeah, he knows it. I remember they've asked him to coach our team, and I just asked him, just like, don't be our coach. Like, I don't want you as my coach. I'd rather have friend's dad as my coach rather than my own dad. So
and Benny, I'll bring you in on this, mate, because you've probably been in a similar situation.
Oh, mate, yeah, that rings so true. The exact same. Yeah, I remember so vividly. I mean, my dad butting heads so many times, and it's funny because he's actually going to be here this weekend as well. So yeah, if he starts piping up from the stands, he might get a good word. But luckily, Mum's coming too, so she'll shut him up pretty quick.
What are some of your memories of watching your dad play, whether it was here or Italy or even for the Glory?
I never watched him play in Italy. Never watched him play for Glory. I wasn't born.
Okay.
Yep. I only have one bad memory, but I don't think I could speak about it. He played when he was with the amateurs. So if people actually were watching him play the amateurs and remember quite a nasty scene what happened, something to do with someone losing a tooth, then I remember that.
We won't delve too far into that. Yeah. Mate, of course, you take us through your journey. Of course, you came through the juniors here at Perth Soccer Club, and then you started to kind of, started to turn a couple of heads in terms of your talent and everything else. Take us through your journey from here, and then, you kind of got into the Perth Glory Academy, and then it was kind of never looking back from there, I feel.
Yeah. So obviously it all started here under sixes, if I'm not mistaken. Then all the way to under 15s. I did skip two years. I think I skipped like 9s and 11s. And then obviously when I hit under 15s, I was playing on the wing at that point. But my coach at the time and Adrian De Rossi and my dad were trying to tell me that I was a defender. I didn't want to be one, but the right choice. Then I decided to obviously accept playing at the back because I didn't like it, but I just did it. And the following year, Glory called my coach at the time and asked him, "Is it all right if we take Ale as a defender?" And we've had a chat, and from there, obviously, I started playing at the back all the time, bit of right back, bit of centre back, and then just slowly learning my craft. So yeah.
And you would have had the influence of people like Kenny Lowe, who's done a full circle with this club as well. Yeah,
was more involved with Kenny at Glory. I think he was the TD at the time. He didn't have a coaching role, a bit of a higher up role. And he was always around training. Always, he was really onto us about being off, how to be professional off the field. They were quite onto that with us young boys, rightly so, because you see lots of boys maybe losing their heads outside of the football field, even though they're really good on the field, and then obviously can't make a career out of it. So he was really onto us being, I think, sports director or technical director, doing something with the youth team there at Glory. Was really onto us about our behaviour off the field.
And you said that you weren't always wanting to be a defender. Was there a moment that you said, actually, I'm pretty good at this?
My mum actually told me a story. It was I was in the car with, I think my dad wasn't here. It was just me and mum and my coach at the time, Adrian De Rossi. We were driving down to Coburn. We had a game. And I don't know why we were in the car together. And Adrian said, Ale, is it all right if I play defender today? He goes, you have to tell me if it's all right, and we'll start, because Dad obviously at this time they've already told me that they think I should be playing there. So it took me a bit of time in the car to sort of think it, and then all of a sudden I turn around and I go, all right, yeah, you can play me there. I'll start. I'm ready to work with you because that's what he wanted to do. So, yeah.
No, it's good. I want to go back to the point that you were talking about just before in terms of like habits and off the field, right? So what can you tell a lot of the juniors that could be like listening to this that are at the club, Perth SC, it could be at Perth Glory and going through this transition? They've got the aspiration, the dream to play where you are now. What can you tell them?
What I would say is don't let your head get too big. Obviously, when you're young and you might hear, obviously at the time you might hear maybe Glory wants you might hear the state team might want you, there's an agent coming to look at you. Just, it's so minimal. When you actually grow, you'll realize that's just 0.5% of what will actually make your career. Just don't change from those little situations. And obviously, as you grow, you will change naturally. But don't change from these little situations to, maybe treat someone different just to think, you're a bit bigger, you're a bit more special than another person, just to have a little say to them. But it's just, it's so small. Just when you're young, it's just the details don't really make a difference at that stage. But the big details are to keep yourself same, keep the same guy. And I think I've done well for that. I still remember lots of people always saying hello. I'm reaching out to people myself as well, and hopefully people appreciate that as well.
No, that's class. I think that's one thing that, especially in the world today with social media, with the images that young players see throughout all sorts of different networks, right? That they think, it's right there, but they don't actually. They completely forget about the process that it takes. They see the top of the mountain, but they don't actually see the steps to get there, which is one of the hardest things. So obviously, being in a pro environment now yourself, what is the difference, right? So coming from Western Australia, playing at a good level over here, to then making the jump to Europe, what's the massive difference that you've seen?
Regarding, there's off the field and on the field. I'll start with off the field. Off the field, there's a lot of eyes on you, so everything's sort of judged. You might see, or you probably do hear stories of kids in Europe, going out, running a bit of a muck, and then that sort of destroys their image, and maybe they don't get opportunities purely because of that, not because of their footballing ability. And then the reason for that is on the field. The difference is here you might be led away with it because you might be the best, head and shoulders above another kid, but over there's 1,000 kids that are like maybe 0.5%. You might think 0.5% weaker than you, but that 0.5%, people willing to sacrifice that 0.5% just for, their attitude and their behavior. So it's just like everything is very, very tight, lots of competition, lots of boys want to make it. There's, I think 90% of the younger generation at least in Italy are aspiring to be football players. So it's quite full on, and all the details are looked at by everyone.
Did that come as a bit of a shock to you when you first got into that, just how professional it was and how competitive it was?
Yeah, especially at a young age. Here, obviously, I've heard stories of kids growing up maybe doing a silly thing, but it's all let off, and then you keep going. But then your attitude, your behaviour stays the same, and you'll be the same guy even when you're 20, you're 25. But over there, even at your 15, you might do a little muck up, and they'll let you know, and maybe the next week you'll see you won't even be in the squad. You might have some youth team player younger guy playing in front of you, and then you realise, like, I really need to be I need to sacrifice now to be really on the ball, and then maybe when I'm 20, 22 and I've got my contract for 4 years, then I can go out with my friends, and obviously always be smart, don't be silly, but then you can enjoy your time when you're a bit older instead of younger.
And I guess culturally, it wasn't probably not as difficult for yourself having your strong Italian roots, but did the culture come as a little bit of a shock to you, living there, breathing it 24/7?
Honestly, that was probably my saviour. Obviously, having family very close by, it did help a lot, and I can't imagine how hard it is for boys who don't have family nearby when they're there, or not being able to speak the language. I was luckily able to have family nearby. I could visit them whenever I want. I was with them for my first year. Also, being able to speak the language really, really helps out. Helps you make friends within the team much easier, and that is probably a big factor, having to, Always keep yourself busy is probably a big thing. When you're alone all the time and you're always at home, then you start overthinking. You might think this, that, but it's not the case. You have to try to keep yourself busy and always doing something, whether if it's literally anything, playing PlayStation, just do something. Yeah.
I want to go specific, so I want to look at defending. Yeah, I want to look at obviously Italian football. I think Chiellini, I think Maldini, I think all this passion behind it. Right, the game's changed and it's evolved, and especially with VAR and things being brought in, defending's become very difficult. So, what are the keys, and what do you really concentrate on and think about in terms of actually defending these days?
I agree. Defending's now become like dodgeball. You can't touch the people.
100%.
Spoken like two true defenders there.
Game's gone.
It's just about evading the other player now, really. But obviously, what I tried least to do is actually tackle. Maldini did say this in an interview. I saw it. It always comes up on my phone, and I've seen it many times. It says when a defender has to tackle, he's almost made a mistake. Obviously, you can interpret your own different way, but defending is like, you've done your job if the striker goes, just away from the goal, and having to tackle him is a last resource. And outside the box, obviously you do whatever you want, but when you're in the box, it's now you literally can't touch any minimal contact, because on the TV you don't know how hard the contact is. As long as it's a little contact, nowadays it's a penalty, and outside the box is there's very, very light fouls given, and the game's turned into that. So obviously there's nothing to say, but obviously I try tackle the least I can. I've heard I was in with the boys in camp. Cam Burgess, actually, he had percentage or something. He had some percentage. He was in like the bottom 1% of the league. I don't want to get it wrong, like bottom 1, bottom 4%, something ridiculous of the league for actually tackling. And if you do think about it, it does make sense, because interceptions, okay, yeah, you can, but tackling, sometimes it can be a bit risky. Just leave it to the higher players to do.
Yeah, fair. Although sometimes they can't even be bothered to get stuck in.
It's a lost art, though, isn't it? That last minute tackle, and I guess Maldini, Cannavaro, these guys were just top notch for it. One of my favourites of all time was Harry Souttar in the last World Cup. That last ditch tackle for Tunisia. He's a master at it as well. But it is a bit of a lost art these days, isn't it? Because you do risk, especially being the last man, the red card they're sending off, and you've lost the game.
I was, you guys are talking about how proud you were to be Western Australian, these players before, but I watched your debut because I'm a proud Kiwi. So I was watching that, and I'm thinking, who's the centre back that's actually, you know what? This is pissing me off. He's too good right now. It was good to watch, man. Like I was when I was watching, I was like, this lad can play. And I mean, obviously, I haven't even reached the levels that you are, but just watching it, it was really cool, and obviously very technical at the same time. So yeah, well played.
Thank you.
How do you deal with the praise, mate? Graham Arnold came out and he said you're amazing in inverted commas this week. How do you deal with the praise? You talked about staying humble. Is it just about listening, taking it on board, but just staying grounded?
Obviously, I do appreciate it, but I'm not the guy to speak about it either. I was just with my mates, for example, last night, and they're telling me you're all over my bloody Facebook page. I was like, what do you mean? I haven't seen nothing. I don't know if I just don't see anything, or I've turned a blind eye to it. Just not really on my phone that much. I am on it, obviously, on WhatsApp and stuff like that, messaging friends and stuff like that. But on Facebook and on Instagram and stuff like that, I'm not on it as much. And they're telling me I need to get your face off my phone. Like, I don't want to see it anymore. Like, I love you, but I need to get your face off my phone. I don't want to see it anymore. But I actually haven't seen it that much. I don't know if I'm just living under a rock or. Yeah.
Is that Belladonna chatting?
I was with Christian, but the person who said it was actually Luke McLean. And Christian was sitting next to us. So yeah, he can vouch for me.
And I mean, I'll take that off. Take that question on another little bit of a tangent, Alessandro, because I guess modern days with social media, there comes that little bit more pressure. So that's something else you've got to deal with compared to maybe players of the past. Yeah,
I think pressure is part of the job. Really, it's comes hand in hand. You want one thing, you got to deal with that, just like every job, really. I don't know, people who bricklayers, I don't know, they get one thing, but they're going to have to sacrifice nothing, maybe, I don't know, hurt their hands or do something. So it comes hand in hand with the job, just like being judged. Obviously, wherever you do, you're being judged. But then at the same time, when you do something well, you're going to be praised for it at the same time. So it makes you want to do well because then you're praised to do well. And when you do wrong, it's just, just got to think. When I was a young kid, I'd judge a player for missing something, for doing a mistake. So it's, it's not, they don't really mean things to heart. They just mean it because passion of the game.
I want to take you back to Parma. It's been an extraordinary season for yourself and Parma. Of course, promotion to the Serie A. Take us through some of those days, mate, some of the celebrations, and I guess just now you've had a bit of a chance to reflect on it.
To be fair, we celebrated quite a bit. Obviously, we celebrated when we got promotion, when we won the league, and then on the last day of the season, 10 of the boys, we went to Ibiza. But no, we celebrated. We had our fair share of celebrations. The game that we got promotion into Serie A was an away game. We flew to Bari, and when we flew back, we landed in the airport. There was probably a couple thousand fans, and it was raining, and they didn't let us out with the bus, so we had to get out the bus as it was raining, go outside, and they sort of, just sung a couple songs, let off a few flares, a few things like that. Then we could finally get on the bus. We went into the centre. Fans were waiting for us there as well. We got off the bus, ran through little sort of alley that they sort of created while everyone was, cheering and stuff like that. But then we went to, there was like a restaurant there, and we had like a little balcony sort of thing, and we just stayed there for the day. And then that was for promotion. Then that was a Wednesday, and then on the Saturday, on the Sunday, we played to finish top. So we played. We actually got sent off after 10 minutes. So we were playing with a man down, and we had to either draw or win. We were 1-0 down. They scored an absolute screamer. But then we did draw 1-1 that game. So again, after that, we lifted the trophy. Families come on the pitch. Really good moments, memories that I'll remember forever. Having the closest people to me on the field with me. And then once again, we did a parade into the centre. There was lots of people. The first time was raining. It was like 1 a.m. on a Wednesday night. You can only expect so much, but there were still maybe 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people there. But no, the day that we finished top, playing at home, stadium was full, streets were packed of people. There was just chaos everywhere. You could tell everyone was happy. And then, we celebrated that night, which was a Sunday night. And then on the following Friday, we had our last game of the season. Everyone was, still so happy, and vibes are high. When you play without pressure, it's a different sort of way to play. And then after we all went on a trip together and just enjoyed ourselves. We sort of I felt like we all deserved it, and for everything that we did during the year.
I'm pretty fanatical about my football, and I know plenty that are, but I reckon the Italians is another level, Benny.
No, I come from New Zealand. The most passionate thing we've got is rugby. So honestly, it's I'm just looking forward to the Euros right now, because you see all these European countries, and I spent a bit of time in Finland. They were like crazy about their football, but Italians, mate, different level completely. So you get success over there, and it must have been a wicked feeling, because then you realise how much it means to so many people. That's cool.
That's probably the biggest thing you realise. Obviously, when you're not doing so well, you might see people quite aggressive towards you, but then maybe the same guy a couple months later, I see him in the shopping centre. He's coming up to me. He's saying thank you. He's saying thank you for everything he's done. It's like we've made his year. Even just playing for fun and doing well. Obviously playing because you love to play, you love to win. But then you realise that maybe just that puts a smile on someone's face and really makes can make a year, they might think that's the happiest year of their life purely because of their team has reached promotion. So
I find the tribalism is another one. It goes to another level. It's like, hey, our team's a bunch of bastards, but they're our bastards, and you're not allowed to tell them they're bastards. It's that kind of mentality. But I've been watching closely, and especially just at Italian football a little bit more broadly as well. And it's just it is on another level. Alessandro, just before we let you go, mate, of course, the Azzurri at the moment, I guess working through a season. Have you managed to see a game yet? Did you get out the other night?
Yes, I've seen two. I watched Perth.
Glory?
No.
Was it
Wait.
last weekend?
It was. I watched 2 games. I watched last night's game, cup game, against Kingsway. Then I watched against Basie.
Against Basie. Yep.
Against Basie. Then I watched that one. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, what are you making of them at the moment?
That's good. Obviously, last night pitch was a bit slippery. Obviously, I can't fault people for slipping over and things like that. Just make sure you wear your metal studs.
We got told that at half time.
Yeah. But no, it's I train with them, and Kenny likes to play ball playing football. A bit like, honestly, the first training I just thought he likes to play like the Brighton manager did, Djulbic.
Yep.
I noticed straight away, just with the third man, with the midfielder coming in, always finding, even though a man has player on his back, still playing it to him and then probably bouncing someone out. But no, they do play nice brand of football. I think if the pitches here were amazing, it would help them so much. But I do see the ball bobble, which you can't help. Is not the player's fault.
Yep.
It's then you can only clubs can only invest so much on a football field, but they do have the right idea to play a nice football, nice to watch, obviously, and I hope it's nice to play. I see when you reach certain levels, not many clubs do that because it's very risky playing the ball, possibly in your own box.
Yep.
So maybe some coaches aren't willing to risk that, but if you are, well done to you. You're willing to risk that, and well done to you as well. We play at the back, and I know it's not easy being a central defender, having to play out like that, and you might misplace a pass by a couple centimeters, and then the ball probably is like a 90% chance it's heading in the back of your net. So yeah.
Just as far as yourself moving forward, you'll get a bit of time off now, then back to club, but hopefully this is the start of a very good career for the Green and Gold as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's hope. I hope to have many more caps for Australia and many more caps this year in Italy for Parma, and obviously I hope everything goes well for me.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate you taking some time out away from family and joining us, and I'm sure Ben is very, very appreciative, and of course the club here, mate, so thank you very much.
That's right. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Big thank you to Alessandro Circati, who joined us just before that brief break. It is a day to celebrate the Socceroos that have come through the Perth Azzurri Soccer Club, and another man who many of you will know, usually hanging around the bar at Doreen Gardens on a game day, Mr. Dino Djulbic. Welcome, mate.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I just had to throw that in there, mate.
That's all right. I'm just making sure the club is getting some money back.
Well, exactly right. Well, you do, because I guess we need to throw a bit of a plug in there for Trio Homes as well, because you guys have got a fair bit on your plate at the moment.
Yes, we are building the house for the clubs, which is exciting times ahead for the club and for everyone involved.
Yep. And how's it coming along? No weather delays or anything like that?
That's always just excuses, but I'm not using it as yet. Maybe later down the track, but we've got the slab down and the brickwork is starting this week, so it's exciting.
Dino, long involvement with the Perth Soccer Club. Mate, I'm wondering if you can recall some of those early years of your footballing journey when, coming through as a young pup and then obviously coming through the Azzurri and then onto the world, I guess.
Yeah, it was, I remember I came as 15, 16-year-old from Germany, and my parents immigrated into Australia with us, and I was looking for the best club where to play to, and everyone said Perth Soccer Club, so that's where I ended up. Someone said they were training down at Beatty Parks, the under-18s, and I went there and sat there, and I was hoping that someone will look at me and give me some attention while they were training, and I was juggling the ball around the corner, and actually, God bless him, Pasquale, who recently passed away, he actually come and approached me, and I couldn't speak English at all, zero. So he come and approached me and said, you play? I said, I see you juggling, blah, blah. So I said, yeah. I said, didn't really say much. He said, come in 2 days. I think it was a Tuesday night, so come Thursday. And he said, bring your boots. And that's how it started. So straight away after one training, goes, yep, come on, we're signing you straight away, pretty much, So it's and I played 18s, I think, that year, and I think I played a couple maybe resi games in between, then went straight to the first team with Norma.
So obviously you had immigrated out from Europe to Australia. Did you have much of a footballing background prior to coming here, or what was your connection to football?
Yeah, I was playing in Germany. I mean, that was my life.
Yep.
I mean, football was everything. I didn't like school. I was good at school, but I didn't like it. So every day after school, I would just pick a ball up and go and play. I mean, look, growing up in Germany, we would train 4 times a week. So it's a lot different to when I came here. And I had to travel because I wasn't playing in the city that we were living in. So I was playing in another city, which was the better club. So they were playing in the second Bundesliga at the time as well. And I had to go on a bus, train, and then I used to get picked up from the club in the minivan. They'll take us to training. After training, they'll drop us off, back on train, back on bus, and walk home 4 times a week. So that's if you wanted to do it.
That's the like we were just talking to Ali about the culture and things like that, and that's the beautiful thing about football, that no matter where you go in the world, this game, that's the language that people speak, right?
Yeah.
And like as you said, like you're just juggling a ball at the park, and people's like, yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's how cool it is, no matter where you go, right?
100%, and that's what helped me when I came here because I couldn't speak English, nothing, and the only safe place it was for me was when I was playing football because I didn't have to think what language anyone is speaking.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a big help for us here, especially as a teenager, 15-year-old kid coming to a new continent, new country, new everything. So because I didn't want to leave Germany. I mean, look, playing in the Bundesliga club, it's having a dream to become a professional footballer. You don't want to leave.
Yep.
In Australia, you're like, oh, do they play football or the egg? Oh yeah.
No, we were just talking to Ali, and just to touch on what you just said there, Stroudy, was the lengths that people will go to get that competitive advantage as well. I mean, just the 2-hour trek was it, Dino, to try and do that?
Yeah, it was straight from school.
There wouldn't be too many Aussie kids that would have to go through that. So we are talking about that another level of passion and commitment.
Absolutely.
Over in Europe.
Well, people, I think kids here at the moment in Australia, they wouldn't go to training. I say, if the parents can't drop them off.
Yeah.
So what do you mean bus? I go to training. No, so, but that's how much you want. And I wasn't there. I remember in Germany, there was a lot of players that had to travel hundreds of kilometers. So it's not just me, they had to go even longer just to get to training because they wanted to be a part of the environment or the quality of the trainings and the club.
You went on to play first team at Perth. I think you came through under Graham Normanton, am I right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, Norma picked me up and I don't know, he liked something about me. But then he always restrict me in training to have 2 touches because I was always dribbling. So I was the only player always.
Does that sound familiar, Stroudy, or what?
Way too familiar.
It's literally like every training session goes, you 2 touch, everyone else is free.
Yeah. Wow. But that side that you came through, it was a very successful side and some names and some players in there.
It was some unbelievable players. I mean, even for me, just to be able to train with these guys, it was huge. But my competitive nature, I wouldn't give in. I just wanted to win. Doesn't matter. And I knew they were better than me because their experience, their quality. But I wouldn't let that bother me. I would just get stuck into them, just like they would get stuck into me. And sometimes we'll after training, I'll go home and cry. Like literally, it was because I had some big players, and they'll give it to you. They'll let you know. So you're like, hold it in while you're training, and you go and say someone else. Someone else.
It's also funny because we just spoke to Alessandro Circati, and he said, well, one day he was in that situation with you guys when he came through the glory as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just it's an ongoing kind of assembly line.
No, it is, and look, and the strong ones will survive.
Yeah.
And you need it to actually survive, to have a long career.
Yep.
If you don't, you might as well just get washed out early on because you're just wasting your time. You know what I mean? There is, you got to have big shoulders, big mind, strong headed, and, to go through this environment because especially when you go overseas, people don't care. People don't care about you. We're actually very nice in Australia.
Yeah.
We're very nice people.
Yeah.
You know, people don't care if you play or not play sometimes. They just, he's a good boy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he plays good. He's a good teammate, you know. So where you go overseas and smacked, they actually hate you because they think they're taking their spot. You know, so it gets looked at differently.
Thick skin, right? That's it. Like, you got to have thick skin because, like Ali was talking about before, it's like if you're good, you'll get praised. If you're good and then you play bad, you'll get absolutely killed. So it's both sides, right? It's how do you keep that level head through the highs, through the lows, through everything? Because you know at the end of the day it's not going to last. So how do you actually keep that in the back of your mind always there? It's just like ground yourself in your performance, ground yourself in your process, and then everything will come from that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, I remember when I signed in Germany, I was like, okay, he's kind of not our savior, but you know what I mean? They lost the 2 centre halves. I come in, they signed me instead of a French player because I could speak German. He goes, the levels was pretty much the same, so they signed me. Boom, I got injured before the first game. And it was just like, you know, they were just injecting me and just trying to get me back on track, and I just couldn't, you know, so because they misdiagnosed stuff. And, you know, after that, they just shut me out like completely. It's like, you know, I was like, mate, that's just how it is, mate. But I remember that in January we signed 18 new players. So we're a squad of 36, signed 18 new players, and I think 12 they released in June again, same from the 18. And I had 5 coaches in 1 year.
Wow.
So that's how brutal it is.
Yeah, ruthless. Yeah. Do you feel that kind of upbringing helped you in your career, kind of toughened you up in a way?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, it's look, I'm a war child as well. So when you go through different things, by the time I was 9, I had to flee the country because of war. By the time I was 10, I lived in 4 or 5 different countries, and you know, so it's like you're traveling, you're living out of suitcases. Even you don't know what's happening. You know, it leaves a bit of scars, and you know, it kills you or makes you stronger, like I said. And you know, I took it as a motivation, and you know, it's try to see it in a positive way, and I think it's helped me through my career.
We were talking a little bit earlier about the art of defending, Dino, and you were never one to pull out of a 50-50. In fact, you were probably about 70-30 in the way that you went in for most of them. But is the art of tackling and the art of defending, how do you see it these days compared to maybe, you know, early days of your career or even before that?
Do they tackle these days?
Well, that's what they were talking about a little bit earlier on.
You can't. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed. I want to tackle last night 50-50. I got booked for it. I'm like, what else are you meant to do?
I know the game obviously is changing and is going different direction in that sense. And with VARs, I mean, I know when the VAR come in and all that while I was still playing, it was, you know, it was challenging because we were giving it to each other, you know, in the box and the corners, you know. I mean, no one's shying off. If I'm getting it, they're giving it to them, you know. I mean, look, one thing I can say, I never started first. So if the striker came along and he accidentally stepped on my foot, and I said, welcome to the game now, let's play.
Yeah, we're here now.
You know, so, and like Wayne said before, I said, look, I probably made my career on tackling, you know what I mean? So, and I always say, look, I wasn't the prettiest player. I was more toughest. I know players didn't want to stand next to me because they were shitting themselves that, you know, something's going to happen, and they'll go on the other side. Some of the games I remember, I used to win in tunnel before I even walked out. Because there was a game, I don't know who we played. I think we played Central Coast.
Yep.
And Twitey and myself were in the back, and O'Donovan. Actually, O'Donovan.
Oh, right.
It was always O'Donovan. Yeah, I mean, look, he come from Europe, you know, he's been...
He was a hardened player on that stage.
Exactly, you know, and he went after 30 minutes, he went over to Twitey, he goes, I'm staying on your side, so I'm not going to the other side.
But that's exactly what you want, though, isn't it?
Hey,
that
that's
intimidation
right.
factor.
You know, and Twatty come up to me, mate, what have you done to him? Not much.
Just looked at him.
Fan favourite here, as well as the glory, but I wanted to talk a little bit about your Socceroos journey and how that came about under Holger Ossik.
Yeah.
Mate, first of all, I mean, you'd been in the country for a while by that stage, but it must have been real good acknowledgement that you were seen as one of the best and getting selected for the national team by that stage.
Yeah, I mean, look, the talks happened a lot earlier. We had first talks, I think it was in 2009 when I went to Germany. So there was actually talks with Australia and Bosnia.
Sure.
So, and they were apparently, they were supposed to come and watch me my first 2 games. We were playing in Frankfurt and in Munich. And that's the 2 games that were both national team coaches were coming to watch. And I got injured.
Wow.
Before the first game. And then, you know, everything changes. So it's, unfortunately, it didn't happen. And then I came from Germany, I went to Simonwood Gold Coast, and that's when I had a great year. And I started going. That's when I went to China, and I remember Miran Bleiberg, my coach, said, "Look, I think the national team's looking for you. The one, they're looking at you again. Maybe you should stay another year in A-League." I said, "Look, I really made my mind open. I want to go," and he said, "Look, I think it's best if you stay. But look, anyway," I said, I've already decided, so I'm going. And he did ring me. He rang me in China. And he goes, "Oh, just speaking to Holger, and he said that you are a foreigner." And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "Australian passport for the last 10 years. You know, "Oh, yeah, apparently he's been advised that you are a foreigner." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "So apparently someone in FFA or wherever it was, it's advised him that I was actually a foreigner and I couldn't play for Australia."
What?
And till obviously there's a few conversations going back and forth, and then I had a call from Holger, and he said, "Look, I'll be interested if you come, blah, blah." So, but because I was naturalized, I was born in Bosnia, that was a process, because Bosnia had to release me and I had to write letters and all this stuff that I'm choosing to play for Australia and not Bosnia. And that was actually before I was supposed to play against Korea. And I think Cornthwaite got called up instead of me because I wasn't, and he actually scored the winner as well.
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
You know, so I was actually supposed to play instead of him. So my journey got delayed again for probably another 6 months, I think it was. So I think in China I was doing really well. I got voted best defender, Asian defender, or foreigner, or whatever it was. So I was there's a lot of people talking about it. I scored a lot of goals as well. So, and that's when I got my call up.
There's a lot of players, younger players, people who are going through that look at the world of football and they're like, "That's exactly what I want to do. I want to go to different places, play in different countries." What can you say about the positives and the negatives in terms of bouncing around and going from different country to different country? Because it's not an easy process, as you say. Like, you go to somewhere without speaking the language. Like, that's something that you've got to overcome in the first place. So can you just touch on that? Yeah, look,
before I went to Germany, so I actually had the opportunity to go to China for a lot more money, like probably 3 times the salary that I had in Germany. But I opted to go for my career. So that was my first thing, kind of going back overseas, because I wanted to make more out of my career than just, I was 24, maybe 24, 25, can't remember now, when I went to Germany. And I could speak the language as well. So that was a bit easier for me, but just because you speak the language doesn't make it easier. You know, it was a tougher environment and everything. And after I got injured and my performance started going backwards, obviously, a little bit, so I didn't play much. So I came back home. I always had the intention to go back overseas because I love the challenge. I mean, personally, I love the challenge because I think It brings the best out of me. It's tough. It's very tough because my wife now, obviously my partner, was with me and she couldn't speak either language, and she wants to be entertained with me. So there's all those things. And probably if I didn't have her, it would be a lot harder. Well, if you go on your own, and especially when you get injured, that was my lowest point in my whole career when I got injured in Germany. It was like, like no one wants to speak to you. You're in a foreign country. Players don't care. The club doesn't care. No one cares about you. Your family's too far away, a different time zone. You can only speak to them limited time. So it was a tough time. So, but I wouldn't not change it, because I think that's what built me up again to where I was. Look, I had a lot of people started calling me because when I transferred to Germany, and obviously with the national teams, and there was bigger clubs that were already started inquiring, and then you get injured and your phone battery lasts for 2 weeks instead of 20 hours, you know what I mean? Because no one is calling you anymore. So it hits the low, and you feel like you're not wanted, or what purpose are you serving in that you're here, So and I know every player goes through the lows, and we know in football the lows are very low, but the highs are very high, so it's kind of nothing in between. So that can be challenging. But to answer your question, it was more I'll do it again. I love going overseas. It's not, you got to be prepared. Mentally, you have to prepare yourself, because you are not in Australia, especially I'll say kids from Australia, because we have it too good here. So it's different when you go overseas.
Yeah.
Very different. The lifestyle, the culture, the people, how you are, the weather, everything. So if you don't prepare yourself mentally, you will struggle.
Dino, just before we let you go, mate, I guess we could have a bit of a look at what's happening for the Azzurri at the moment. We spoke about it a little bit earlier on. The girls absolutely flying at the moment, and still working through this transition period of the men at the moment. But how are you seeing things around the club?
Yeah, look, obviously the results haven't been great of late, but, I think a lot of people don't understand that, we've had obviously change of coaches and change of playing style and everything. So everything changes. When you start the whole preseason and you do everything with one coach, and obviously he's gone to better things and better places, which you can't blame him. And a new coach comes in, he's starting to implement his own stuff, and that takes time. So, and obviously the results, it's hard. Sometimes the results don't follow. Even you can see it happening in training ground. You can't see it straight away on the weekend, So I think from everyone's point of view, it's a little bit of patience, and I think we are heading in the right directions, and I think we're starting to play some good football as well.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Hey, we'll let you go. Thanks very much for jumping on this afternoon.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Big thank you to Dino Djulbic, who joined us before the break. Benny, some wonderful stories this afternoon on this episode.
Unreal stories today, to be fair. Yeah, great to chat to some guys with some unbelievable experience. Yeah. And yeah, when you get some advice, and hopefully there's some young juniors in the club listening that can pick up some real keys to take on in their journeys in football as well. Absolutely. And if you are liking what you're hearing here on the Perth SC Podcast, make sure you tell your friends. Make sure you give us a good old review on Apple or Spotify, and spread the word of what's happening here at the Perth Soccer Club. Quick look ahead, Benny. We'll start with the girls, because another bit of a grudge match this week against some familiar faces against Balcatta, but despite the result against Red Star, there's still work to be done. Oh, look, 100%. All they can do is take the confidence from their form. That's all that they can keep doing. Trust their process and keep saying the same things. They keep banging goals in, and they manage to keep them out. They'll keep getting those results, and it's so good to see. And they're within 2 points now of Red Star at the top of the table, so hopefully they can keep doing that. Yeah, looking forward to that. And of course, the cup run continues as well for the girls.
difficult one this week. They've fallen back into the pack a little bit, the Western Knights, but they still pose a threat, no doubt.
Yeah, look, I just remember the first game of the season. Yeah, I wasn't involved. I was sitting on the sidelines, and look, there's I think with the form that we're in, we've got a really good chance this week. And as we talked about earlier, it's round 2, right? We've played everyone. We're familiar. We're getting better and better every single week, and all we can do is take confidence from what we've been doing and hopefully, go ahead and get stuck in at the weekend, especially at home, 3 p.m. It's going to be a cracker. Yeah, very much looking forward to that. Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m, the NPL men's team taking on the Western Knights, and it'll be the girls away on Sunday at 3 p.m. They're going to take on Balcatta. So if you can get along to one, if not both of those across the weekend. And Ben, a little bit happening for the juniors. I guess we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, but the season well and truly underway as well. Yeah, good luck to all the juniors this weekend. I know that they're getting stuck in, and I'm pretty sure that there's some cup games this weekend too for them. So, good luck on both Saturday and Sunday for those involved. Okay, that's where we'll wrap up things for another episode of the Perth SC Podcast. Don't forget to tell all your friends, give us a good old review and spread the word of what's happening here at the mighty Perth Soccer Club. Big good luck to everyone this weekend, and come on the Azzurri.